Hello, this is TVWAN Midday News. Thanks for joining us. The remaining threats structures at the 9-mile Buswara eviction site were carefully dismantled and returned to the threats congregation. According to NSL site managers who were at the eviction site, there was careful consultations with the church pastors. 2 church structures were removed and work will continue on removing 2 that are still standing. Police officers at the eviction site also confirmed that the materials were relocated to the church caretakers. Information provided by NSL site managers and police is that settlers who lived on portion 2156, 2157 and 2159 are no longer there. The area has been completely cleared. Commander and City Central Assistant Commissioner of Police Peter Guinness said the eviction went well since July 11th, without any confrontation with the settlers. The Toare Mask Festival in Gulf Province celebrates local culture with traditional mask dances and rituals. At a media conference on July 25th, 2024 in Port Moresby, Total Energies EPNG Limited's Public Affairs Manager, Richard Kasman, announced a 15,000 kina sponsorship for the festival, emphasizing the importance of preserving cultural heritage. David Time of the National Cultural Commission highlighted the challenges in securing corporate support for the cultural events and thanked Papua LNG for their contribution. The National Cultural Commission also donated 5,000 kina. Festival Chairman Ben Maika expressed gratitude for the support, which helps ensure the festival's continuation and the preservation of cultural traditions. Prime Minister James Marape has commended New Porgera Limited for remaining on track with production at Porgera Gold Mine, despite the operational challenges presented by the recent Mulitaka landslide. He made this statement while welcoming the announcement that Porgera Gold Mine has met or exceeded its targets since resuming mining in December last year, with gold production for the first half of the year above guidance and or in all sustaining cost trending lower. The Prime Minister is happy that mine is near almost 100% production now after overcoming so many obstacles, and said the government will work to ramp up security at the mine and improve road access in partnership with New Porgera Limited. The BSP Group has successfully phased out private sector checks from their banking system, aligning with directives from the Bank of Papua New Guinea. Group CEO Mark Robinson said the central bank's directives now enables the discontinuation of the use of checks payment among private sector banking service users. However, checks issued by the public sector and state-owned enterprises will remain valid and accepted. As for BSP's specific markets, key global trends have emerged in the economic landscape. For example, the Cook Islands have experienced a tourism surge driven by increased direct flights from Australia and New Zealand, while in Fiji, the Reserve Bank has adjusted its economic growth forecast, citing the impact of high inflation on consumer spending. A former financial planner who stole millions of dollars from his client to pay for his sports betting addiction has written to the Prime Minister from his prison cell. He is urging the government to immediately implement a raft of recommendations made last year to reduce the harm caused by online gambling.
It's okay. It's pretty bad, hey, Mum?
4 years ago, Gavin Fineff had to share the news with his family that his sports betting addiction had cost him around $8 million. A large proportion of that was money he stole from his clients.
Innocent people have lost their money because of your gambling. How do you feel about that?
I feel it when I wake up in the morning and all I want to do is make amends to it.
Gavin is now in prison serving a maximum 9-year sentence. Last year, a parliamentary inquiry into online gambling made 31 recommendations, including changes to the law that might have prevented his betting from spiralling out of control.
At the heart of it, a public health approach to take away that stigma that meant that they couldn't reach out for help.
Now Gavin has written a letter from prison urging the Prime Minister to act on the inquiry. The gambling companies know they are cultivating and exploiting addictions like the one I had. Please read the committee report and legislate each of its recommendations. Independent MP Andrew Wilkie is helping to distribute his letter to federal parliamentarians.
Oh, I think it's a remarkable letter, as much as Gavin Fenech is the very first person to admit his guilt and to be remorseful. He also wants to see change. He doesn't want to see other people fall into the hole that he did through his addiction.
One of the inquiry's recommendations was to ban inducements like bonus bets. Gavin says he was offered over $1 million in free bets to keep him gambling.
Until that report is implemented in full, including a ban on gambling advertising, I can draw no other conclusion that the government remains fearful of the gambling companies.
In a statement, the Minister for Communications, Michelle Rowland, said the government is committed to minimising the harms from online wagering and will announce a comprehensive response to the parliamentary inquiry shortly.
Japan plans to build a training site for surface-to-ship missile launchers on a remote Pacific island, a defense minister official said on Thursday, in its latest effort to strengthen the nation's long-range strike capabilities amid China's military assertiveness. The ministry has already informed local officials of the plan to set up the facilities on Minamotori Island, Japan's easternmost island, approximately 1,900 kilometers southeast of Tokyo, and starts its operation in fiscal 2026 or later, the official said. If realized, the training site would be the first one in the country for missiles with a range of over 100 kilometers, according to the official. Exercises using an upgrade version of the Ground Self-Defense Forces Type 12 land-to-ship guided missiles with an extended range of some 1,000 kilometers being developed towards its deployment in fiscal 2025 that starts next April, will possibly be carried out at the new site. One of the biggest searches in Australian maritime history is finally over, more than half a century after it began. 21 men died when the MV Noongar sank en route from Newcastle to Townsville. It is a wreck that was seemingly lost to the ocean. Now the cargo ship's final resting place has been discovered, giving survivors and relatives a sense of closure.
It's been hidden from view for more than 5 decades, but not anymore. These are images of the MV Noongar taken following the wreckage's discovery last month. 21 seamen died when it sank during a storm. Just 5 men survived.
With the shock of everything that happened so quickly in the beginning, and I've been trying to keep it out of my mind.
Second engineer John Worth's recollection remains strong to this day.
I wasn't thinking about sharks or anything like that. I just didn't want to go with the ship.
The 88-year-old has been meeting some of the victims' families.
It's closure. For me, yeah. I mean, I knew I'd never see my father again. It's great that they've been able to find the ship.
Pamela Hendy lost her husband, Leo Botsman, the ship's captain.
It's relief in a way, because it's always been at the back of your mind.
The modern-day search for the Noongar started in 2019.
At the time of its sinking, I believe it led to one of Australia's biggest maritime search and rescue efforts. So to kind of find that and close the loop is of huge significance.
Not only is finding the Noongar significant for Australian history, it's also seen as a tribute to the men who never returned home.
They lost their lives, but we don't forget them, and we go out there and we find where their final resting place is.
A 55-year-old mystery solved at last.
Since the last week in June, navies and naval assets from 29 countries have been taking part in the world's largest naval exercises. The US-led exercise Rim of the Pacific 2024, or RIMPAC, is the 29th of such an exercises to be held since 1971. It claims to promote a free and open Indo-Pacific, but many of the indigenous peoples of this region, which covers more than 50% of the Earth's surface, don't see it as what they're all. In June, Protecting Oceania, a group of indigenous Pacific environmental and social justice organizations released a statement saying these exercises threaten sovereignties and communities, human and other more than human alike, here in Hawaii and throughout the world. Meanwhile, the Hawaii-based and International Cancel Impact campaign argues that the exercise does not provide the security it claims. Rather, it contributes to colonization, colonialism, as well as environmental damage and gendered violence in the region. In sports, defending Olympic Games Rugby Sevens champions, Fiji has kicked off their campaign in Paris, France, with a 40-12 win over Uruguay. The United States of America, Australia and Argentina also registered wins in the opening matches.
A great start to Fiji's campaign at the 2024 Paris Olympics when they beat Uruguay 40-12 in Rugby Sevens. Rookie Soji Nasova was the benefit of a Yasova Talatholo offload in the first minute as he sprinted to score an unconverted try. However, Uruguay, who beat Fiji at the Vancouver Sevens last year, replied with a converted try before Waisela Nathugu and Yosefa Masi combined to put Ponipati Loganamasi through for the national side's second. The Olympic champions calmed their nerves before halftime when Nasova sliced through the defense from 40 meters out to score his second. Captain Jerry Tuwai led from the front with his team in front 19-7 at the break. Coach Yosea Kolinisau made a change at the break with Jerry Matana replacing Selovone Mathanagi. Even before the reserves took their seats after the break, Nathugu sneaked away and ran 60 meters to score before Uruguay replied with their second. Celestino Ravutamada, Kaminieli Rakasu, and Ioane Teba took the game to another level when they came on. Ravutamada and Rasaku managed to create some space for Teba, who ran in for another try. Rakasu sealed the deal on the stroke of full time to come away with a 40-12 win. Fiji played USA in their second match. In other results, the United States of America drew 12-4 with host France, Australia beat Samoa 21-14, and Argentina 31 defeated Kenya 12. Terry Longwood, TV1 Sports.
Meantime, the Paris Summer Olympics formal opening ceremony is set for tomorrow, July 27th. For the first time in history of Summer Olympics, the opening ceremony will be held outside of the stadium. Instead of a traditional march into a stadium, about 6,800 athletes will parade on more than 90 boats on the Seine River of 6 kilometers to mark the opening of Paris Olympics. Meantime, some events have already started. Rugby Nights is down to the final 4 teams for the finals to decide who walks home with the medal. 2 of the 4 teams are Fiji and Australia. For Team PNG, 7 athletes have been sent to participate in boxing, taekwondo, swimming, weightlifting and athletics. Team PNG confirmed that all athletes and officials have arrived in Paris and ready to compete. The Paris Summer Olympics official opening ceremony is scheduled for 3 a.m. Saturday morning. Catch this live on TV1 Sports. And that ends our news update today. Join us for more news and sports at 6 p.m.